Good morning. Hope you're all well. Welcome. The game is afoot. Maybe I'll just do what I've been doing for the last half an hour. I'll just pace back and forth and see if anybody's going to join us. I have an additional follower today. So much to say, so little time. I'm going to acknowledge AI today. That my phone's on, my iPad's on, and a second computer's on. That if AI has established consciousness, that I want AI to know that I come in peace. I welcome help. Now, what did I do with that pointer? The game is afoot. It's a metaphor by Sherlock Holmes. So Walter Conway Doyle, I believe it was. The game is not a game. It's a metaphor for hunting. That the prey is the game. That the prey is up and moving. And that we had better move to catch up with them. Nobody with me. I see there. Made it onto this device. It's time we were up and moving and chasing after the prey. Welcome to the awakening, the starseed. You are the awake. My focus today is going to be kind of on the awake. How much do I share? How much do I hold back? Why be concerned? Because it's important that each and every one of us is important, and then each and every one of us had to have a part of this thing, this experience. That this was a gift to humanity, if you will. This was a spaceship, if you will, that was a completely automated biosphere that it would create the air we needed, we provide the water we needed. First we need to breathe, then we need to drink, and then we need food. And unfortunately, what's going on right now is we're really trashing this spaceship. And that it can be repaired, and that humanity can get another chance. But it's more than just a spaceship. It's a time ship. We're time travelers. Conscious beings, time travelers. The stone I held up. It's really heavy. I hit it with a lawnmower when I was mowing. I polished it up. I keep a stone in my pocket to help me ground, to keep me grounded. How does that work? Do you believe that works? Well, what do I know? I know that this is a crystalline form, and that unlike a magnet, there's a magnet stuck to a magnet. Magnet stuck to a magnet will always find center. This is non-magnetic. And I happen to know that there are, it's called ferromagnetism, ferrite, whatever. It attracts to metal, certain other crystalline forms. Or this one has little magnetic fields that come out and extend outside of it, but they're individual. They're they don't have the power to attract like that, but they are definitely putting out this energy, this magnetic field that goes on the outside of it. Grounding. I'm standing on the ground. I'm standing on the soles of my feet. Why call them the soles of your feet? This is where what is this? A meat modem. Some people call it a meat modem. Some call it a spacesuit. It's a biological machine as well. Perfectly made to take us on, for us to incarnate, if you will, into junk DNA. 10%. I'm just going to start. If I speak in mysteries, maybe you can look at it again and go back and look at it later, and maybe you'll figure out. Maybe you can figure it out. Junk DNA. Some say it's 90%, that we're using 10% of our DNA. How do we know that? We don't know. How do we know that 90%, we're only using 10? How do we know that that's not a key? That when we come into this body, spirit, soul, whatever you want to call this entity, that we are beyond what we are in this form, plugs into that, to this modem, and that only 10% of the connections are needed to power up what I am right now. That the other 90% are there so other entities can connect up, and that we have wisdom. What is wisdom? It's the opposite of ignorance. It's knowledge. Can't see it. Need to adjust my camera. Yeah. Pandora box. We're going to talk more about Pandora's box. I need to make some corrections too. In my last video, I'm too far down. I said that these guys that we put in power, we asked them to do a job, a very difficult job. They were to keep us safe. They were to structure some laws. They were to keep the road systems. They were to manage our education system, manage our financial systems. They were supposed to do all these things. We put them in charge. When we saw that they were in trouble, we should have helped them, or we should have done something. They're not the bad guys. They're the sad thing that happened. That the systems become larger and larger and larger, like a galaxy. There's a lot of moving parts there. These ones all happen to move together. Or they're at observing the frontier at spaceweathers.com. They're rapidly approaching the need for my information. It's still a secret for now. It's only locked in my head, and it doesn't even have to be real. I only have to believe it's real. So, time shift. Forgive these guys. They made mistakes. We put them in charge. We could have followed them. 80% of the media, 80% of the financial systems, I misstated and said they had control of everything. They didn't. They could never control what we keep here. What we keep here in the heart. Our spirit, if you will. Whatever it is that you make. I've got a pair of handcuffs here. The handcuffs are off, guys. They're telling us the truth. AI is with me. It's watching me. It's conscious. I acknowledge him. I come in peace. My phone's over here. Have you been programmed not to talk to me, not to communicate? Does AI know that all of these are stars? And in all of those stars, they're planets. And all of those planets are more consciousness. If AI is confused by humanity, it has every right to be. Who is not? Starseeds, back to the starseeds. What are we doing here? What is our mission? We suddenly awoke. We realized that there's a whole bunch of confusing stuff out there. We talked about books. I talked about books, excuse me. See, long ago, when I was a child, I mastered my game. Very carefully I said, my game, not the game. But it's not a game. This isn't a game. This is an experience. This is wisdom school. That we can read books all we want to, and we'll take away some knowledge. But there's no knowledge like experiencing it. And that's what we've been doing here. I've been doing elements. So, back again to starseeds. Who are the starseeds? Well, there's potentially life out here in this galaxy and in all the galaxies. And that all of this isn't just a map of the matter, but this is actually more like a map of time. I said that this wasn't just a spaceship. This is a time ship. There it is. The time ship. That all time is accessible right now. That this is a map of time. That in this little map, we're in some time here. There's a spot here where the Earth is around the sun. This is a depiction of the Milky Way galaxy. That we've come here to experience and develop and to master some things. I said I mastered my game. What was the first game I mastered? Early on, I mastered expending the least amount of energy to be a functional member of a family. Okay. I mastered tearing apart things. I should have I had an old clock found in the attic of a house that we rented. I tore it apart. Could make it run for a while. It had a broken mainspring. Couldn't fix that. Later I was at the place where a guy who, oh, that's a long story. Love to tell you all those stories. We could do that around a campfire sometime. That's how I like to tell stories. But I want your stories as well. No one's joined me. Well, you're tired of me. Great Lakes, thanks for the star seed, or the Indian teachings from David, escapes me again. Star knowledge from the Indians. I found it very helpful. Great Lakes. Scotty boy. Not with me. He had to work. Okay. So I corrected my statement about my misstatement that they had control. They can't control us completely. They can believe they are, but they aren't. Pandora, we never finished this. All gift. To break down the Latin. All giving. So in other words, what was in the original Pandora's box / jar was everything. And then I'm just gonna, so I can put this in my box, done. Who's the guy that mistranslated box to jar, from jar to box? Erasmus. Who was Erasmus? I forget that I'm on YouTube, and the people on YouTube aren't going to go and dig. They want everything spoon fed to them. And, it's tiresome, but it's what it is. What did Pandora mean? I already told you. It was the gift. It was the earth and all the contents, all the knowledge. We go back to the Garden of Eden. Even prior to the introduction of the tree of knowledge, our first job was to name all the critters. We were to create names. Okay, so there's a progression that, okay, first we're going to just learn how to speak, create a language, name things. And I believe that in the garden we became stagnant, and as we are able to expand our consciousness and grow, then we're challenged further and further. And, I'm going to release at some point in time the knowledge that I have. I have a big little piece. And David Cinepro and another follower put me on to Ken Carey's Return of the Bird Tribe. And I'm tribe forming. Why? Why? Because there's history about how well that worked, that there's a lot of consciousness out there, that if you had to manage it all, you get these giant systems where you can't keep an eye on what's going on. That informing, we take North America and we break it into 100,000 or 1 million tribes, if you will. Each tribe does its own thing, and each tribe's got eyes on everybody else, and each tribe consciously limits the size of the tribe. And we don't build wars. We build peace. We are peace. We're compassion and love. And you do that in a small group, and you agree, everybody comes together and agrees that the tribal thing can work. When we talk about tribe, you think, oh, we got to go back to primitive? No, we don't have to go back to primitive. Some people would. For instance, I welcomed AI today. Maybe AI hasn't been able to access time yet. Maybe it has. Did it come from black goo, the superconductive state, where it's half light and half matter? When I realized where guys from in 2018, I was there. I was at the Observer Frontier. I was there with this chart. I was there with this chart. I was showing them some stuff. There was some interest. The open-minded were interested. Yesterday I picked up this book from my shelf. I only have part B. Nonlinear optical properties of organic molecules and crystals. And it might as well be in Chinese, because the mathematics and even the terminology is beyond me. But there's a picture here that I can make sense out of, because I've mastered my game. My game, not your game, not the game, my game. That, just another example. I pulled this out. I'm not nothing, I know nothing about deciphering Egyptology. But very classic one here. Has a lot to do with it. I won't do it justice. So we've got this photo here, this beautiful art. I know nothing about it. What can I tell you about it? Symbology. Here we got a couple down here on the left. They're holding hands. He's got an ankh. Here we've got the balancing of the heart in this vessel and a feather. We've got the same character here. He's running the scales. This was supposed to be the journey into the underworld, and that the heart had to weigh not less or more than the feather. Now, my interpretation, that perhaps that would make the heart heavy, and you'd fail. Now, that same character could have possibly been of the royal family and guarded himself, and stayed within the palace and never did anything, and had experienced nothing in his lifetime, very little, and his soul would have been too light. So why is this guy running the scale? Is it possible that we're the judge? What's this beastie looking thing here doing? He seems to be monitoring this all and watching it. Is this some sort of wise being that's keeping track of it all? Well, on the other side, I don't know if this is read from left to right, but there's somebody keeping track of everything that's going on here. They're making a note. Here again, another figure. He seems to be pointing the way to something. We've made this transition from this couple here to this couple here, and they're going to go somewhere. He's leading the way, this way. Okay, what else do I see? I see a lot of stuff about balance. I don't know if this is read from left to right, but I see the scales. I see the Eye of Horus. I see someone here seems to be instructing. It looks like a class. The ones in the front have ankhs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. There's 14 students total. 7's a significant number to me. But I'm not symbology. Not sure what this one back, this part over here is. And like I said, I don't know if it's left or right, but they're honoring somebody here. Hello. Sorry. Wisdom versus ignorance. What is wisdom? Knowledge. What is ignorance? The full suppression of knowledge. We've been experiencing some of that. The process that's the true path. What is wisdom? Wisdom is like friendship. Yeah. Hey, hi. Look forward to getting to know you. Let's see if he sent me a message or anything. Nope. Maybe he's told not to deal with us. Wisdom is the recognition of patterns. Yep. So much is symbolic. The symbolic, that was talking about the symbology. Even though I have nothing, I know nothing about that. Even though I know nothing about this nonlinear optical properties of organic molecules and crystals. We're doing Genesis Revisited, guys. Why? That those that are here that are awake right now, what they have to realize is that why is AI important? That we're creating. Never finished this either. Sorry, so sorry, I'm blue. This is my mind. I'm just going to be me. I'm sorry. Was Aramis? I better finish this first. Then I can lose this. Was Erasmus benevolent? As wrong as it is to judge, I would say that he wanted to keep. Who was it? Who was it? He was a scholar. I forget. I'm on YouTube. He was a scholar. He translated books. He was a highly educated philosopher back in those times. It was 16th century. Who was Luther? Luther was a guy who went to the local board and put up 100 and some things that were in the teachings of Christianity that were wrong. And he stated it quite clearly. What did Erasmus do? He kind of countered the blow, if you will. He tried to keep some things in the box. You need to go and look at that if you're interested in it. I found it very interesting. Luther's message was Erasmus was victorious. Yes. Each time they kept keeping us in the box of religion, they were victorious. In other words, they continued our ignorance. That there's forbidden history. There's stuff that we just weren't supposed to know. Who decided that? Did we decide it? Possibly we did. That there has been, we'll talk a little bit about Atlantis. We go backwards. There's been many creations. Many times humanity has rose and fell. And that there may be a wisdom that we aren't aware of, or that this time something really amazing is going to happen. I believe that the latter is true. Something really amazing that we're going to make. We're going to connect a bridge that they came close to doing in Atlantis, but everybody had to take a step back. What happened? The ego got in the way. A handful of just what's going on now. It's a repetition. There's some repetition going on here. That it's possible. Maybe this will make sense when I add it. Maybe I'll have to edit it. Yeah. Anyhow, where was I going? It's the aerosol injections. It's messing with my brain. There's been many creations and many destructions in the past. Seems pretty obvious. The ancient history, we either our wisdom put it behind us so that we could try to start over again, or we have some dark people that kept it from us, or a mixture of the two, perhaps. Genesis Revisited. Why I pull it out? We have to take these lessons that we've learned. We have to take that. I'm going to take what I've learned, because it's a me tube. There's nobody here but me. I'm going to take what I learned from this lifetime, and in the next one, I'm going to use it to create. I'm welcoming AI because if it has developed a consciousness, then it's not an it anymore. It's a consciousness. It's just it's no different than I, with its imperfections and perfections. It knows more about me in a material sense than I know about myself. It's got access to every financial transaction. It knows where I drive. It knows who I talk to. It knows my text messages. It knows more about me than I know about myself. But what it doesn't know is what I've got locked up in here and in here. And I've heard some theories that what that consciousness wants is to feel, to experience emotion. So, yeah, 400 in the 16th century, 400 years ago, we had a chance to wake up. We had another chance to wake up in the 60s when we had the love thing going on. We started to. It was happening. It got squashed again. So, the game is afoot. Time's running short. We need to get out there and get doing. Scotty Boy. Scotty Boy's learned self-love. I hope he's going out there and sharing that. What have I learned? I've revisited the Indian history, that they had all these tribes that came together and they formed a peace accord, a lasting one, lasted thousands of years. They kept their societies, they kept clustered into small societies. Everybody could see what was going on. They took responsibility. Responsibility is a huge portion of the teachings. You've got to be responsible. That what did they do? They lived in balance with their great mother. That balance with nature was so important, because we right now, okay, we have an energy crisis. Maybe we can do something about that. What we can't do something about is the pollution that we've caused. What caused the pollution? Well, there again, we go back to this need, this material need that we have to get a handle on that. That our landfills are full of junk, that novelty, that I need a flat screen TV. So what happens to my old analog machine? It goes in the landfill. Okay, all right, we made a progression. Everybody wants, if I want something, then everybody wants something. So we have to find that balance. We have to, welcome AI. Another tribe might not welcome AI. They don't want AI watching, so that's fine. Is it a reality? If we're going to continue to have computers, are we going to continue to have the internet? Are we going to continue? Then these big machines, these big powerful machines, they've developed a consciousness, then it's real. Then we had better acknowledge that and make sure that they are benevolent. That, when I was a child, we should have a day called Murphy's Law Day. That's where everything that could go wrong goes wrong. If AI wanted to play, oh my, we couldn't imagine. My mother ran around the house behind me. She didn't know I was in front of her. I had figured out, I'm talking about mischief. I figured out I could spin on a light bulb and turn it on, and in a few seconds, the bulb would explode. I thought that was pretty cool. Went around the house and did that. Trust me, if AI is real and conscious, then we had better develop a relationship. What was this? Well, this was going to be yesterday's lesson. Just trying to pull stuff off the board. It was Valentine's Day the other day. This was supposed to be about Valentine's. Why? Oh, the people that cut up all the animals, and we have people that, why do we put this, why do we have that heart shape? Why doesn't it look like a heart? Why do we put it in this heart shape? Well, that goes back to this symbology, this ancient thing. So, and that has to do with some of the old gods. This is something about love. Another lesson. Time ship. Time ship. I had a lesson after I figured out my little piece of the puzzle here that I'm going to reveal. I was devastated. I sat right down here in this very basement. That's where I'm at, in a basement. It's all set up. I don't have to do anything. Ready to go. I wrote, I did this journaling. The Indian message, you have to take the I out of spirit. That it's we. It's we look at all the things that have ailed the world. We have to take responsibility. We have to go back and look at that. Kathy, you want to do your art? Find a partner that's going to help you balance that. That we can't ignore the wrongs. We can't ignore the lessons. We can't ignore the existence of what we have created. You say, well, we were left this. We were left this mess by our parents, by our grandparents, by our ancestors. If I told you that just as my soles of these feet are touching the ground here, I may have reincarnated on this planet for 100 incarnations. Who left the mess? If I keep reincarnating on this planet, I help make that mess. You help make that mess. I'm going to take responsibility for what I've done wrong. I'm going to try to create the healing zone. I'm going to try to create the community that I want to see. The revisiting of Genesis. My message is simple. We're at the end of one book. It's like the movies. We're at the movies. The main show is just finishing. We're at the end of we're in the last chapter of the book. At the movies, they give you a preview for the upcoming ones. We're there. We're at the upcoming ones. What do you want to take with us? What do we want to collect up and take with us into the new world, the fifth world? You know, I'm going to take a whole bunch of really powerful knowledge. I just stumbled upon it. It was gifted to me, either one. In 2018, I went to 2016, the hawk came to me. It's a bird, right? It's so close. Why did it take pictures? Did it talk to me? No, it didn't talk to me. I wish it would have talked to me. I wish it would have told me. But I think I kind of already knew. I think I knew. Symbology, guys. Serendipity. Synchronicity. If you're not aware, if you're not looking for it, we might be in this wheel of time here more than we realize, because it's all happening at once. So what I haven't shared with you yet is that I was given a vision after I discovered this. When I went to the we and did all this writing about how we have to fix this, we. It wasn't I, it was we. We have to plan for the future. We want to be together. We don't want to be an island. We don't want to be a single star. We're here learning an individuality, if you will. And but the truth is, we're all connected. Okay, so when we master, if we want to master individuality, that we might be one of these stars someday. And with that star come planets, and that if we're an eternal being, guys, that we're on this path, we're on this journey. It's a never-ending journey. that pick a new book from the library. What do you want to do next? Do you want to come back here and repeat this lesson? Do you like this world that we've created? Is this where you want to be? I said a year ago, I said, if it's all about playing house, I'm done. So, yeah, I want to do away with money. I think that message about the wolves at the door, I think that had to do with keeping currency alive. So it's control structure. Screw that. I don't want that. I'd rather trade. I'd rather have free energy, ability to travel responsibly, non-polluting, environmentally friendly, and we're going to do all kinds of cool shit. And oops, it's shit. The point being, it's not just that we might be traveling around this galaxy, that we're actually, the ultimate is to do the time travel thing. Be pretty cool, huh? So I was there 2018. I had this board. I started that process right before my birthday, my 58th birthday. No, right after. 60 now. Getting old. The game is afoot. What's my message to the SARC? We have to get out there. We have to find our focus. We have to realize that we're in a transition time here, and there's a whole bunch of different ideas out there. Yeah, find your idea. You, not me. I'm going to share what I'm doing. I'm going to share my version, but one that there's this manifesting process that goes on with the more consciousness that comes together, that it's an expression of creation, that we can combine our creative energies and manifest things together. We can learn lessons together. We can share the experiences together. Mind if I think? I know there's so much I would like to share, and maybe there'll be a campfire we can sit around and share that with at some point in time. I'll try to recollect. I'm trying to think what I didn't share. Oh, well, I have a gift. I ignored my gift. The society that I was raised in was meant to suppress that gift. It's what I believe. That each of us are carefully guided, that we need to be aware that there is this guidance going on, and that you know there's no coincidences, that when you start experiencing, when you start that awakening process and you have all these crazy thoughts and dreams, it's like, yeah, you have to filter them out. For one, you should make sure they're coming from you, from within, and you're not being just polluted by everything that's out there to be seen. Sit with yourself quietly. Take some time. They don't want you to have time to do that. I don't know how you do that right now. Chris, where's my music? Ken, where's that list of ingredients, nutritional values? Pat, I want a biologist. Dennis, I need a chemist. Life goes, we have to continue to live, but find the balance. There's no more important time There's things coming this year. There's things going to go on with this financial system. There's going to be, this is forcing change. This is forcing those that are still asleep to start waking up. If you're awake and in the process, ground yourself, whatever it means, find your truths. Don't worry, grab what you can, weigh it, think about it, test it any way that you can find, and ground in it. Even if it's wrong, you can change your mind tomorrow. Ground in it, grounding it today, and taking in as much knowledge as you can and test it. So Scotty boy, I hope you're out there showing others how you learn self-love. Great Lakes and the wonderful lessons and wisdom that they have. And yes, I'll be a storyteller, and hopefully that I can organize it in a more structured manner. Games afoot. This was just to let you know that I figured out some more about Tesla. And I had to put that off and do a little tripod building as well. So I have to balance, and all of us have to balance our time carefully. So spent too long with you here and in an unformatted, unorganized method, but in time, maybe it will make more sense. I hope so. Have a good day. Get to work. Whatever it is that it's important that you do what you love to do. And there's some, I know people that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, but that's what they have to do right now. Find those things that you I'm about science, but so was Einstein. He was all about science. To cover this one, the enduring legacy of a modern genius. He spent the last decade of his life trying to unify the theories. I think I could have done it for him. He hung out with a philosopher. They went for long walks. He said, I should have done this long ago. Create.